Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to lesson number 2 on navigating times higher education, sustainability, impact ratings, SIR. I told you I'll be wearing a different cap today. You can see it's a white cap that I am wearing. I'm Peter Okebukola, yours truly. And today is a wonderful day, 22nd of February, 2026, and we are ready to roll. Ready for lesson number 2. Are you ready? Me, I'm ready. So let's go. Oh, yes. So here we go. Sustainability Impact Rating, SIR. That's lesson 2. But lesson 1, what did we do? We did Times Higher Education World University Rankings. And how did we perform? You all did very, very well. You can see this plot of your scores at the end of the week, all bunching to the right with very high scores. Congratulations. You did it before. You can do it again in this lesson at the end of the week. So what are we going to do this week? This lesson. We're going to look at history of Times Higher Education Sustainability Impact Ratings. We're going to look at the methodology, data submission process, African participation, and strategic positioning plan. Let's begin with the first objective. That is the history of THESIR. The year now 2019. Oh, sorry, I'm putting pidgin English. Let's relax now. Which kind of thing with that? So when the world's first global ranking aligned to the UN SDGs came in place, and I'd like to give thumbs up to Times Higher Education for responding to the criticism earlier that the rankings just academic, don't focus on that, not showing the impact of the universities, of the higher education institutions to society. I say, hey, Times Higher Education people say, oh, no, don't worry, we're coming up with something. And they came up with the SDG related ratings. Now, let's go on. So 2019 was the pilot year, and only 3 SDGs were tested at that time, and few institutions were there. But by the following year and the year after, we had all the 17 SDGs covered, and several hundreds of universities joined. By 2025, you can see it, over 2,500 universities from 130 countries. But by 2026, there was some rebranding. When some people are talking, this Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, I laugh. I say you are living the past, because today it has changed name and also some procedure. It is now Times Higher Education Sustainability Impact Ratings, SIR. It has shifted from the ranking of the past, which is subscription, to say subscription-based rating. So the distinction between the old and the new is that the old, which is impact rankings, was free to enter. Just apply and then you're there. But the sustainability impact ratings, SIR, will require you, your institution, to get a subscription, membership subscription, in order to participate. So that's the gist of objective number 1, all covered. Let's go to objective number 2. What about its methodology, its indicators, and the weightings? SDGs, you are familiar with this image. Now, for Times Higher Education, it's the same. You can see them here on the Times Higher Education site. Now, there are 17 tables. There are 17 SDGs. So each one has a table. And then there's the overall. So you're going to see 18 ranking tables. To appear in the overall ranking table, I'm going to be repeating this a couple of times. You got to do 17. That was the compulsory course. So compulsory course, 17. SDG 17. Then some electives. You got to have 3 other SDGs, because the overall score is derived from SDG 17 score plus the best 3 scores for remaining 16 SDGs. Let's assume that, okay, you have 17. That's already done. And then SDG 2 was one of the great ones for you. SDG 10, SDG 3. Oh, you take those 3 and then add to SDG 17. And that's how this thing works. Sorry about that. Yeah, there are 4 assessment areas. You have research, you have stewardship, you can see the annotation here, outreach, the teaching, and if you look at the results, you see what you have for the latest. The #1 university in the world on this SIR is Western Sydney University. You can see that they had 95.1% on SDG 15, this on 12, this on 11, and this on 17. You can see 17 is common to all. As I mentioned, 17 is what you should have. Let's look at what is happening in our great country, Nigeria. Afe Babalola University is leading the pack. You can see it is 84. This is the global rank. Global rank. So you can see our performance, all the performance of the universities in Nigeria on 17. Then these other ones, we have 7, 1 here, 13 here, and this. So Covenant University is #2, Redeemers University next, Landmark University, and My Great University, Lagos State University. It's coming up there. Of course, there are several other universities below this. I was only able to excise, if you like, extract from that table. So the 17 SDGs that are assessed are this. You know them now, 17 SDGs. So what are the weightings and the data requirements? 17 is mandatory. Like I said, I'll keep repeating it. Doesn't matter. Repetition is good for remembrance. The research metrics typically worth about 27% of each SDG score. Now you have to have policies or evidence indicators. This can account for 27%. And the scores, of course, will range from 0, that's the composite score, from 0 to 100, and then the ranking is done. What kind of data are required? If you don't have institutional policy, for instance, on gender equity, it's a no go for you. Or environmental sustainability, it's no good for you. Some institutions have many of these policies, but some of these policies are not there. So you are not ready for SDGs, SIR ranking. So what you must do is to ensure that these policies are in place, because tertiary education will not just take your word for it. Your words are good, but not take your word for it without validation. So you got to have gender equity, environmental sustainability, anti-poverty support policies, and other policies. The quantitative operational data. You got to have data on your energy use, NEPA, renewable energy share. If you are doing, if you have solar energy and all of that, and all such energies that are conserved, the energy resource in the world that's needed. Recycled waste percentage, women in senior roles, financial aid data, the number and percentage of students receiving significant financial support, your research output, outreach evidence. Are you reaching out to the community around your university, around your state, around the country? So we need that. I mean, you're talking about impact. How are you impacting your university? You just sit down in your small cocoon. So you got to show that you are impacting your outreach. Your teaching data, are your courses SDG related? If yes, show them, show evidence. Sustainability literacy assessment, graduate employment in relevant sectors. So I'm not going to say too much here. Already I've said too much. I've said enough. But if you go to this site, it's a YouTube site where tertiary education people themselves, they have told their own story of how this thing is done. So you go there and get the full gist. That's what I did in lesson number 2. This is lesson number 3. So how do you submit data? The first thing you do is to register. As a first-time institution, you go to register. Where are you going to register? Go to tertiaryeducation.com and you will see a place where you can register to receive portal access. But as I mentioned to you, when the thing changed recently, you go to now apply for subscription. And then you select step 2 is to select the SDGs that you want to submit. 17 is mandatory. I've repeated it 1 million times already. Then you select at least 3 others. Then you gather your data. Then you enter your data. Then you await verification. As I said, tertiary education would like to take your word for it, but they want to also check it out, do validation. and the ratings are published. So that's the process. What is the annual timeline? September. That's when the THE will open registration. We are in February. This month, February 22nd. So it's still a long time. Hey, it is not a long time. Oh. You got to start now. You got to start getting your data ready now. And so that by October, November, when the submission window will open, you already have your data and evidence to upload. Because by November ending, the thing will close, and December to May, that's when Times Higher Education will start to process the data, will verify and validate all your submitted data. So by June, ready to publish. 18 tables are released simultaneously. So what's the tip? I mentioned that before. You begin your data collection tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. For now, begin it now. At least 6 months before the submission deadline. That's what you should do. So you have an initial readiness checklist. Just look at this checklist. I'll come back to it in a way. Let's go on to objective number 4 of 5. African participation in tertiary education. How has it been? Hey, Africans, they do well though, because we are impacting our communities. By 2024, we are 230. Yes, 230 African institutions, more than double in a single year. 2023, we had only 106. So Africa, I'm happy to note, yes, happy to note that Africa is leading in SDG 1. No poverty. Poverty is fully life. So no poverty. We're leading in that one. Because 59% of African institutions submitted SDG 1 data when you compare it to 49% global average. South Africa is top performing globally for SDG 1. Nigeria, oh yes, Nigeria they carry last. Nigeria, fastest rising nation globally for research citation impact over 5 years. Let me now go to a case study. Case study of Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti. That's Abua. Hey, by the way, tomorrow, which is on the 23rd, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Smaranda Elizabetha Smaranda Olarinde, a globally renowned legal luminary and a member of the Association of African Universities Governing Board, will be giving us a lecture, live lecture. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. You see, she's going to tell us how Abuad has been able to do it. For 4 consecutive years, Abuad has been number 1. 84th globally. So in the other table, 84th globally. 3rd in Africa. Currently trailing only University of Johannesburg and University of Pretoria. So let's go on to the last objective, which is number 5. Developing a focused strategic positioning plan for improving performance. How do we do that? Let's take the first one, which is to choose your SDGs deliberately. So first thing you do is to conduct an SDG audit. And do not scatter your effort. Say 17 SDGs. Oh yeah, we're here. Jack of all trades, mental bad stuff. No. So start with SDG 17, which is mandatory. Then I suggest you do SDG 1 and SDG 4. These are areas where African universities are shining, doing well. So choose them. Then choose 4 to 6 SDGs maximum in your first submission and expand strategically in later years. So you should try to avoid SDGs where to collect data there will be some trouble. So avoid them. The other is to build institutional SDG architecture. What do I mean by that? The Vice Chancellor should be the champion of it all and should appoint an SDG director. I'm going to give you 2 examples. In my university, Lagos State University, our Vice Chancellor, Mama, Professor Ibiyebi Olatunji Bello, is the one in full charge. But she has let a chairperson who is Professor Adenike Boyo, Professor Adenike Omotunde Boyo, a great physicist, one of the best in the world, and she specializes in solar radiation and atmospheric physics. She's the one in charge in the sense that she's also superintending, the entire thing. And the Vice Chancellor has appointed Professor Adeneye, Professor Adejuwon Adewale Adeneye as the SDG director. And you will see later that we have, working groups. It's not a one-man show. It's a collective thing. And then for the other university, that's Crawford University of Crawford, you have Professor Solomon Makinde, who is the vice chancellor. Great man, great wise man. Solomon and wise. And then he is overall in charge. And then we have Professor Isaac Adegbenga Aladegbola, who is the deputy vice chancellor, heading, the SDG thing. So what I'm saying is that you should deliberate. You be a deliberate effort, dedicated persons, and then you have to embed SDGs into the institutional strategic plan. Everything, budget for it, create a formal SDG policy register, set up cross-faculty SDG working groups. So, because every faculty will have to make input into SDG. For instance, in LASU, we have Professor Ibrahim Olawale Olateju, is the Dean Postgraduate School, in charge of that. And he's done it so well. The data from LASU, LASU was going to come up, hot, pursue Afebaola University and Covenant and Landmark. You see that you have Professor Olateju, run a working group. We have the SDG working group. We have the SIR, Sustainability Ratings Working Group. So you got to have working groups. That's what I mean by building institutional architecture. And I've given you examples of So next is to invest in research alignment, encourage your staff to publish in SD relevant journals, build and disseminate research clusters, register on Elsevier's similar tools to track SDGs, partner with international universities to co-author SDG relevant papers, also to boost SDG 17. Now time for a break. Yeah, welcome back from the break. It allowed me to drink some water. Through the dry once more. Anyway, we're doing it. So it's about practical. Vic Bay is not about theory, PowerPoint, just PowerPoint and go. We know this is the #1 institution, capacity building institution, virtual in the whole of Africa. And we learn skills. So practical number 2 is on the way, or practical number 2 is SDG mirror analysis. Actually, practical number 3, I'm sorry. That's SDG mirror analysis. Where does your institution stand? That is the object of this. And there are 2 tasks. Activity 1 is to get a footprint mapping called the heat map. Heat. You can't tell me this is Peter Okebukola about it. Yeah, okay, anyway, heat map. We want to heat ourselves up today. No, I'm just joking. The priority SDG selection. So how does that work? It works. I'm going to say this Excel sheet and you're going to get on with it. I'll show you the demo part of it. So let's do a demo of this exercise. Yeah, so this is the file you are going to get an Excel sheet, and you have it as module 12 practical 3. I'm going to change this practical 3, tertiary education, sustainability, heat map template. So you have to enter a score 0 to 3 in the yellow cells, these cells here. You go to enter the scores. Enter which scores now. It has to be about your readiness. If you want the instruction to this, you can just click on this, where you are strong, where you're partial, where you are weak, or where you're absent. That's a 0. So the way it goes is this. If you are strong in no poverty in the area of research, if you are strong, it will be 3. If you are weak in the area of scratch, you can see it has turned to green. If you are weak in the area of this, you can be 0. So it gives you this red bar. If you are like in between outreach, you can see it gives you yellow. And you can see the SDG total will keep changing. This one, let's say it's a 1. So you can see this is called a heat map. You do the same for all these, all to the end, and it's going to get you a score. So what will then happen is that your recommendations and conclusion, your top 3 SDGs, you put your answer here. You can be SDG 1, SDG 3 or 2, SDG whatever. Put your top 3 there. Then you justify, you put your justification here. Why did you choose SDG 1? Because it is compulsory and because you've done well, whatever. The SDG 2, you indicate why you have selected it, SDG 3 or whatever, or other SDG. The SDGs to defer to future dates, you select them here. I put justification, I put your conclusion. So your answers must be here, 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 here. Now this for official use to let you know how we're going to mark your heat map. 17 SDGs by 4 clusters. You know, there are four columns there, 4 clusters by 20. Every entry you make, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, will get a score of 20. No, that's quite good. So that gives you this. Your top 3 SDGs for immediate submission will be this. Then your justification, that's where the marks go. You have to justify why you say these are your top 3. The SDGs to defer, put your justification, your conclusion. The grand total is 3,160. That's what you are aiming for. So don't forget to put your registration number and all of that, and then you submit. This is practical number 3. Yeah, so by way of summary, in this lesson, what did we do? We traced the history, we did the methodology, we did that summation process, we did all of this. So we have succeeded. So what is going to happen in the next lesson? Next lesson, we're going to be looking at Higher Education World University rankings by subject and also interdisciplinary science rankings. Well, that brings us to the end of lesson 3 and practical 3. I'm sorry I said practical 2. This is practical number 3. From me, Peter Okebukola, white cap. Next time is going to be another color of cap. From me, it is bye-bye for now and take care. God bless you all.